So, whether you've got a killer business idea, a side hustle that's starting to take off, or a full blown company, there is one single concept that can absolutely make or break your success. It's called the home zone, and it's all about pinpointing your perfect customer. Today, we're going to find yours together.
All right, let's just kick things off with a big important question. Forget about money for a second. Forget about the competition. What is the single biggest reason that most new businesses, well, just don't make it?
You know, the answer is surprisingly simple. They have no idea who they're actually building for. They try to create something for everybody, which, as you can probably guess, usually means it doesn't really connect with anybody. And that is the exact problem the home zone framework is designed to solve. It's basically a roadmap to finding your people.
So what exactly is this home zone philosophy? Well, think of it like you're building a house. Your business needs a solid foundation, right? And that foundation rests on 4 key pillars of knowledge. You got to have all 4 of them, and they all have to be strong.
First up, and this is the big one, it's all about knowing your customers. And I don't mean just knowing their data points on a spreadsheet. I mean knowing them as actual people. Who are they? What do they really want? What's that thing that keeps them up at night? Second, you absolutely have to know your market. This is bigger than just your customer. This is the whole landscape. Who else is out there? Who are your competitors? You need to know what kind of game you're actually playing.
Pillar number 3 is knowing your services. This is the how. How are you actually going to solve your customer's problem? This is the expertise, the value you bring to the table, the stuff that might not be a physical thing but is absolutely crucial. And the 4th and final pillar is knowing your products. These are the tangible, physical things that deliver on the promise your service makes. You get these 4 pillars right, and my friend, you have built one heck of a solid foundation. But okay, how do you know if your pillars are actually strong? Well, there's a guiding principle for that. Everything you decide, from who you're selling to what you're selling, has to pass through a simple 3-part filter. Does it drive sales volumes? Does it align with our core values? And of course, is it profitable? If the answer to any of those is no, then it's time to go back to the drawing board. Okay, so let's get practical. The journey to finding your home zone always starts broad. We need to take a look at the entire marketplace from, say, a 10,000-foot view before we can even think about zooming in. And this starts by asking some really honest, maybe even tough questions. First, you gotta look in the mirror. Do you and your team actually have the right skills to compete here? Then you look outside. Is there a real visible need for this? Are people actually online right now searching for a solution? You also have to be brutally honest about the competition. Is it a crowded space? And can you realistically carve out a spot as a leader? And finally, think long term. Is there a way to build recurring revenue here? Getting a yes on these is basically your green light to move forward. So, once you've given the market a thumbs up, the next step in our funnel is to start talking numbers. We've got to move from this kind of vague idea of a market to a specific, measurable audience that we can actually count. The best way to think about this is like using a set of zoom lenses. You start with the widest possible view. Are we talking national or even international? Then you zoom in a little tighter to maybe a state or a province, a little tighter still, and you're focused on a single city. You can even get super specific, zooming all the way down to, say, a 15-minute commute radius around a physical location. With each click of the zoom, your audience gets clearer and clearer. All right, now we get to the real heart of the home zone. This is where we stop thinking about big numbers and we get incredibly personal. It's time to build a detailed profile of one single ideal customer. We're going to give them a name, a face, a story. We start with the basics, right? The demographics. This is like building the skeleton of our person. How old are they? What's their income, their job title? Where do they live? This stuff gives us a solid foundation. But believe me, it's only the starting point. Because this is where the magic really happens. We have to move beyond the what and get to the why, their emotional core. It's all about understanding this tension in their life. On one side, you have their current pains and frustrations. On the other, their goals and desires for the future. Your business, your solution, it exists right in the gap between those 2 columns. So, to really get inside their head, we're going to ask 4 very specific questions. Let's start on a positive note. What is the single biggest goal they are trying to achieve right now? What are they actively working towards? Next, let's zoom out. Beyond that immediate goal, what's their ultimate dream, their big aspiration? If they could wave a magic wand and fix everything, what would their life look like? This is their deepest why. Okay, now we flip the coin. What is the single biggest, most annoying frustration that is standing in their way? I want you to pay really close attention to this one because that pain point, that is the problem you were born to solve. And finally, we dig just one level deeper. What do they truly fear? What's the worst case scenario if that big frustration is never, ever solved? Understanding this fear is how you communicate just how much your solution really matters.
Okay, so after all that deep work, we've assessed the market, we've sized up the audience, and we've gotten to know our ideal customer on a personal level, it is finally time to bring it all home. We're going to wrap it all up in a clear, powerful mission statement.
And it all comes together in this one beautiful, simple sentence. You just fill in the blanks using the answers we just uncovered. We help your persona achieve their goal so that they can realize their ultimate dream without having to deal with their biggest fear. That sentence right there, that becomes your North Star for every single thing you do from this point on. And just like that, by following this process, you move from a vague idea to a crystal clear focus. You know exactly who you're serving, you know what they truly need, and you know how you're going to help them. You've officially found your home zone. So the only question left is, are you ready to start building?